Alright, so installation video. So we're going to uninstall the current CPU cooler, which is a Noctua NH L9 x SE AM4. So hopefully that light off of the auto tracking camera is not too bright and screwing up the video. Nothing worse, folks, than when you make these videos and you go back and you're like, oh, something got screwed up. Alright, so we're taking this fan off. Did not see a lot of time on this here AM5 motherboard. So we're putting a more stout CPU cooler on here. Would be decent for a Ryzen 5 7600X. What's on here is actually the 7600, and it's a lower TDP. Decent CPU. Done some gaming with it. Actually, quite a few gaming videos with it. We have tried tons of different GPUs with it, and probably this is going to be the 5th different CPU cooler. Now you might ask, why does this guy make so many of these videos? Well, the reality is, folks, I gotta make some money on these channels, and the only way seem to make money is to do the installation videos, because I've realized unboxing videos do not pay out so well. So we're just wiping this up. Normally I would spend a little bit better time cleaning it up, but we're going to be making a lot of these videos. So the reality is that you don't need a whole lot of time there. Alright, so my CPU cooler is still not ready. I have to get this out of here. There is a good chance that the brackets that I'm going to install are nearly identical to the ones I've taken off. They look awfully familiar, but truth is, we need to start over. From the beginning. Yeah, and these are the same spacers, same screws. Alright, so the reality is, in your packaging, you would have this mounting bracket, 4 gray spacers, and 4 screws. Alright. Now, just so I don't have to open these look like they're almost identical, but maybe not identical. So we'll use these, and then I'm just going to put that back in the box. But what do we need for the installation, folks? Well, we need the 4 screws. We need the 2 mounting brackets. Hopefully you guys can see that. I guess I should just pick it up. 2 mounting brackets, 4 gray spacers, 4 screws. This is number 2 Phillips. Number 1 is probably a better choice, yeah, for this size screw. Number 1 Phillips, and of course we have the directions, right? Glasses, if you need those, folks, always a good idea to have those. and then some thermal paste. I'm going to use V-True in this, but you know, you'll have a tube of thermal paste in your box. All right, so where is our CPU cooler, folks? That was the whole point of this video, right? Let me go grab it. So this is the NH U12s Redux, but imagine this could just as well be the NH U12s, right? So pretty much the same thing. This is just a cheaper version of it. Now, ideally, I would have this orientation. All right, so that tells me that the mounting bracket is going to be oriented like so. And of course, when you go to assemble this, you're going to see that right away. There's only one way to do this, because unlike Intel, these are not a square pattern, it's rectangular. So we'll put those on. Now, looking at our directions, because you know, this is the place you could screw this up, like, oh, you know, you want it facing out, right? So I find it easiest to do one screw at a time. You can hand thread this at first, all right, and then grab the other one, hand thread that one, and then eventually we'll grab our number 1 Phillips, tighten that up. So I'm trying something different here today, folks, with the overhead view. I recently made another video with the same motherboard where I pretty much, I would say, wrecked it with bad camera angles. And the reality is this camera, so we have one camera that I have a feeling half the video was pointing at something else. I'm doing landscape with one, portrait mode with the other, and who even knows what you guys can see on that one. We'll see if it's even worth having. Maybe occasionally, you know, you guys can see yours truly. Now eventually I'm going to have some company logo shirts on the channel, try and look a little more professional, either the weightlifting brand or the this here electronics channel brand. Alright, so we're screwing this down, folks. And we are we're already ready for our thermal paste. Oh my gosh. Alright, so all kinds of ways to apply the thermal paste. You could just do one big daub in the middle. And as long as you do enough, it will spread across the face. I kind of like doing 5 dots where the middle one is the biggest. Now this CPU, folks, it actually has, you can see the printed circuit board there. You don't want to put too much on, but you definitely don't want to put too little on. Put too little on, you will be going in and removing it. Alright, so our CPU cooler, this one is, you know, not perfectly symmetrical, but the fact is, whether I have it this way or the other way doesn't matter for this CPU cooler. Some it does. Sometimes they're slightly offset, alright? So we want to line the nuts up with the threaded posts. This is where hopefully this other camera is seeing the action. So I put my glasses on because I think depth perception this close is a little off. Okay, so we're just trying to get a couple threads on both sides, and I always have a little bit of problem, but in the end. Now, if you're concerned, hey, I didn't put enough thermal paste on there, what you do is, if you have enough thermal paste, you can tighten this all the way down and then untighten it and get an idea how well the thermal paste spread. If it didn't spread very good, you know you need to add more to what you originally did. Now you could start completely with fresh thermal paste. The reality is, if you just put the thermal paste on, it's not like you're mixing old thermal paste with new thermal paste. So it is completely acceptable to add if necessary. All right, so that's on there. Now the brackets, folks, these go on here pretty easy, but let's talk about the fan itself. Intake side, exhaust side, okay? So the side with our RAM is, we want the intake side facing out towards that, all right? It's gonna suck in cool air, hopefully, push it across our CPU cooler and out the back, all right? So I'm only gonna just demonstrate this once, putting the fan brackets in just like so, and hopefully they'll stay. And then now with this one, there's all kinds of ways we could route our cable. We could actually use sometimes you can use the frame itself, but in this case, folks, this cable is not that long, so we're gonna just push the cable over to that side and then bring in our brackets, and hopefully between the two camera angles you can see this, assuming I edit it just right. Now I'm going to provide the overhead view for this. There is on this motherboard the CPU fan header right there, and this can go in only one way, folks. So let me just so you guys hopefully can see that with a little more light. Boom. Okay, so it's good to go, and that's going to conclude the CPU cooler installation. NH U12s, NH U12s Redux. Hope you got something out of it. Please like